Oh man, I did not sleep much last night, so this will be exciting. Anybody else? Go ahead. Sorry.
When we're rounding, we're supposed to round to, well, when you're rounding the standard deviation, you're supposed to round to 3.
Yeah,
Or
at least 3.
okay, I see where I went wrong.
Gotcha. All right, everybody else okay? No questions about homework or the quiz or anything? All right, so if there's no questions from homework or the quiz, I want to talk about types of error, right? If you're doing the homework, you might have run across questions about type 1 errors and type 2 errors, right? That doesn't sound familiar, then okay, we're going to talk about it. So when you do finally get to section 9.2, it'll make more sense. Yes.
Can you go over 3B for the test, please?
Yeah. Let me see. You're gonna have to excuse me, by the way, everybody. I think I just told you guys I'm going on very little sleep. All right, let me see. Let me look you up here. Rhiannon, is that you? Is that who's talking to me? Yes, Rhiannon. So everybody's 3B was basically finding a sample size. And all right. So let me show you guys something that most of you guys saw this, which is good, and some of you guys maybe just figured out that it made sense. But you'll notice on the, what do you call it, Jeff? On the quiz itself at the top, you can't really see this too good, but too bad. Can you guys see that okay? I mean, remember this? Do you see right there? This equation right there? The one n equals ts over e squared. So, I mean, if you don't know sigma, you have to use s, and you have to use s, you have to use t. So this is the formula you use for 3b, because you had to use t-scores for 3b. Does that make sense? No? It's okay if the answer is no, just let me know. All right, all right. So, all right, let me show this in a better way here.
Where would you get the error from on that problem?
They tell you. So the problem always has to tell you. So how far off did they want to be?
Within 10 texts?
There you go. And everybody, some people had 10, some people had 9, some people had 8. Depends on what version of the quiz. Let me see. Here we go. Let me share this thing. So again, here's one version of the quiz, right? But everybody had the formula sheet up here. So the problem says how many more people at least, or maybe some people said under 19 years. So 10 or 9 or 8 or whatever your number of texts were on 3B, that's your error, because that's the within is the key word, right? So error is 10. And then you look back up here for the appropriate. So this one said at least 19. So I'd look back and get my S and my T for the work error I did for at least 19 up in this problem. And then I would throw it into that equation. How do I know I have to use this equation? Because it's asking me for a sample size, n. So it's got to be one of these 3. And that's the only one that deals with T's and S's. Is that better?
Yeah, I understand. I knew to use that one. I was just confused on where to get the error.
Oh, yeah. So they always have to tell you. So here it is, within 10. So I want to be off by at most 10. So that's my error. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that make everybody feel better? Including my private chatter? All right. I'm going to assume that's okay. Okay, I'm going to assume that's okay. All right. Anything else, guys, before I get into types of error? Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's talk about type 1 and type 2 error, what the hell that means. And then we'll see where else I go from there. We'll all find out together because I didn't really get anything to put together today, considering I just finished grading the quiz about 8 minutes ago. All right. I know, hold on. I got my War of the Worlds shirt on today. It just felt appropriate. All right. Two different Americas. Which one will it be? All right. So, can somebody tell me this? There are only two things that can happen with a hypothesis test. That's all that can happen. Can somebody tell me what those two things are? The results of a hypothesis test.
The high and the low.
Those are the hypotheses. The results of the test, the results. What could we end up doing?
Support or reject.
Yeah, support or reject.
Sort of. You just told me the same thing twice. If I reject the null, I support the high. That's one idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you think that I'm older than 50, then you also don't think I'm younger than 50, right? So you just said the same thing twice. So you can either reject the null hypothesis or you can
Support it.
no. All right, so you never support the null. You never support the null with sample evidence. A sample can never show evidence that something equals something. Are you guys with me? And we have never said support the null ever. So it's either you reject the null, meaning we got into the reject, or fail to reject, kick ass, right? You either reject the null or you fail to reject the null, which means you either support the high or you fail to support the high. I just said the same thing twice. So one result is I can reject the null. Does that mean the null is false?
No.
Beautiful. I love it. I was going to tell you, if a jury finds somebody not guilty, does that mean that they're innocent?
No.
Nope. Nope. We won't get into any specific examples. So I could have made a mistake, right? I could do the whole thing perfectly right, but I could do something wrong. When would this be a wrong conclusion? What would actually be true to make this a wrong conclusion? When would it be bad to reject the null?
If we fail to support the high?
No, stop. What? If you claim that the average age of gross spawn is 28 and I reject your claim, when would that be a bad thing for me to do? If in reality, what?
Everyone's 28.
No, not everyone's 28, but the average age is 28.
Okay.
So
any evidence to support it?
So here's the funny thing about this. If you make a claim about the average age of every student enrolled at Grossmont, we can test it with a sample. There exists an actual average age of every student at Grossmont right now. Isn't there? Right? Can we get that? Can we, any one of us, figure that out?
Yes.
No, we can't. Right? Are you going to talk to every Grossmont student? Especially not now. How are you going to get a hold of them? You're going to try to break into everybody's Zoom lesson and talking to people. How old are you? How old are you? Who's not here today? How old do you think those people are? Do you understand? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We're testing claims. There is a truth that we can never know. That sounds so deep, but it's not deep. It isn't, right? If we do a test on a drug to see if it works better, there is a truth. It does work better or it doesn't work better. There's a truth. Our results could either align with the truth or not. If we do the whole test right, there's a chance we're wrong. I really want you to understand that. You guys kind of with me? So watch. So if I have like a one-tail test, this is going to be alpha in here. This is my rejection region here, right? And the whole idea is, I think that the mean is actually higher than this. So if I get in here, that is evidence that the mean is actually higher, but it isn't proof. Because is it impossible to get a sample here if the mean really is here? No, it's not impossible. So we never know the truth, which seems bleak, and people think math should be better than that, which I find laughable. Math cannot be better than real life because math describes real life. That's why I love statistics. It's the most honest math. All right, we think he's guilty, give or take 3%, Is that a reasonable doubt? Is that within a reasonable doubt? I don't know. Maybe. You guys have heard that phrase before, right? Within a reasonable doubt. That sounds very much like the alpha and the plus or minus and all this shit, right? There's that built-in, we could be wrong, but let's go ahead. All right, Jeff, I was going to say something political about the death sentence, but I won't go there. All right. So coming back to this side, come back. I was just talking at a kind of a higher conceptual level. Here's all this is. When would this be incorrect if the null was actually true? So a type 1 error is we do a test, we do it all perfectly right, and we reject the null, but the null was true. So the type 1 error is to reject a true null. Wouldn't that be an error if I reject somebody's statement and their statement was true? Isn't that an error? Okay, I like it. And I don't know why they decided to call it a type 1 error. To be honest, I didn't look that history up. Sounds like type 1 diabetes or something. So they could have called it, who knows, but they just call it type 1 and type 2. The other thing I could do is fail to reject. And of course, when would that be the bad idea? If I fail to reject the null, when is that bad? If the null is actually what?
Something
False.
positive? Oh.
If I fail to reject it, then like Janik said, that's bad if it's actually false. I mean, if the null is false, do you want to reject it?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So when is it bad to fail to reject it? When it's false. So type 2 error would be to fail to reject a false null. All right. I like it. Let's do an actual example. You guys want to do an example? I'll do an example. I'll do a non-mathematical example, and then I'll do a mathematical example. Let's do that. So one of my favorite examples to do is you're a battlefield medic. Did I spell that right? No. You still didn't spell it right, John. I don't care. It's not a good day for anything. Battlefield medic. And you come up to somebody who's laying on the ground. What are you going to check first? There's laying there.
Your heart rate?
To determine what?
If
They're
they're
alive.
alive.
If they're alive, exactly. Because if they're not alive, you don't want to waste time working on them because other people might need you, right? So here's an interesting question. So this is not mathematical. I'm going to put statements here. So where should the person is alive go? This is kind of neat.
Ho?
It could, to be honest, and the reason you might think that, I think, is because the ho has an equal sign and you're thinking is. I don't know if that's what you're thinking. Right? But when I come up to a person on the ground, what am I trying to find evidence for?
If
Signs
they're
they're
alive.
alive?
Trying to find evidence for them being alive. So it really doesn't matter, to be honest. So I could put it, but I just prefer to put it here. The person is alive. The person is dead. I think it would work either way, but right. So what if I make a type 1 error? To remind you guys, that is to reject a true null. So if I make a type 1 error, what is true? What's actually true?
The person's dead.
Person is dead because this is a true null. So if I make a type 1 error, the person is dead, but I think what?
You think they're alive.
Exactly. So what would a type 2 error be?
The person is alive, but we think they're dead?
Yes, the person, get in there, is not dead, but we think that they are. So it's kind of a subjective question. Which type of error would be worse in this case? Right? If the person's actually dead, but we think they're alive, we're going to waste time trying to work on them. You with me? And of course, there's all this thing about, well, maybe they're not that dead. Maybe they're only mostly dead, and you can actually bring them back. But anyway, if they're really dead, we're going to waste time working on them, and other people might die while we're wasting time on them. And I'm really sorry, this is so morbid, but what's wrong with this one? If we think they're dead and they're not, what are we going to do? We're going to go to somebody else, and they're going to be laying there like, oh, shit. All right. All right. I'm trying to lighten this up because I'm talking about death. I have no idea. Okay. Maybe. All right, now let me do a mathematical example. All right, there's some math stuff in here. All right, I'm gonna erase this all. So what if there's a claim that Biden won more than 51% of the popular vote? More than 51%. Where would that go? What would it be?
The high.
How can I rewrite the claim in Mathish? What would it look like?
P's greater than 51%.
0.51. I like it. And where, somebody else tell me, where would it go?
Hi.
Exactly. I was going to say hello. So the O would be this guy. All right. So if I do the whole test and I make a type 1 error, what is the reality? So what's the reality, but we think what? I missed what that. Like Jubal said life. I forgot what that was in response to, but type 1 error, remember, is to reject a true null. So what is true?
That it's not 51,
Well, not that it's not 51. That's not right. Be careful.
less than 51.
Or equal to
No. So reject a true null. So what is the actuality is this. The percentage that voted for Biden is actually at most 51%. But we think it's greater. You guys understand that? We think it's not true, but it is true. So you're right. The null is actually true, but we think it's not. That's the setup. That's why it's an error. That's why it's a mistake. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong in your math. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong with the hypothesis test. It's just life. You can't ever be 100% certain. That's the way it is, kids. Learn it now. Such a bleak lesson today. I love it. What about a type 2 error? In that case, what's the reality? We fail to reject a false null. So in reality, which one of these is true then?
That it's greater.
Yes, so in that case, this is true since that's false. So in reality, the percentage that voted for Biden is greater than 51%. But we think it's less. Or it is at most 51%. Do you guys, I mean, it's that, there's no. So either a type 1 error would be, this is the reality, but we think this. And a type 2 error would be, this is the reality, but we think this. Is that, do you guys get that? It's just, there's only two things that can happen. So when would I make a mistake? When I pick the wrong thing. When I support or fail to reject the wrong statement. Maybe? You guys hate that?
Maybe.
But I really want this to make sense. Since I could either reject the null or fail to reject the null. So only two things I could do. When would the first guy be wrong? Well, if the null is actually right. If I reject it and it's actually right, that's a mistake. All right, so that's a type 1. If the null is actually wrong and I don't reject it, that's a type 2. That's all it is. That's it. That's all. I always wonder how much is the language they use, the type 1, type 2, if that gets in the way. It's just a silly decision they made. All right. So I think, let me see. Let me know if there's any more questions on that idea. And I think, if I remember correctly, we haven't finished that handout I had about percentage hypothesis tests, right? As I destroy everything here, let's see. O'Reilly. Here we go. Auto parts. Did we do it? No, we didn't do this one. All right, good. All right. Jeff is just happy that there's something to do because he didn't get anything put together. Let me see. So let me share this. So this is, I'm pretty sure this is up on the, what do you call it? The Canvas shell, right? We did this side the other day. Remember this about Chicago police? All right. So let's do this side. And when I say let's, I mean you guys get started and then I'll catch up. And you know, while you're doing that, let me know if you have any questions about anything. Oh, let me put this on the other screen. Hold on. I mean, you guys can access this on Canvas. Let me stop sharing this for a minute. Let me throw you guys over here and throw this one over there. There we go. Where'd you guys go? Class, will you stop it? Okay, thank you. There it is. There we go. You guys can see it again, right? I'll take that as a yes. Okay. Uchama. Well, looks good to me. Oosh, Nikes. That's not good. 4.3, that's good. No, wait, that's 5.3. That's weird. Arizona, good. Yeah. Plug in. All right, I'm going to sort of start to catch up to you a bit. That's what I get for the claim. You guys with me on the hypotheses?
Yes.
All right, because I always get somebody who doesn't get it, but is the same as. So that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, shouldn't be too many people out there getting that wrong. So it makes it a two-tailed test. I like it. Now be really careful in part B. Some of you guys got this wrong in the quiz. When you have a percentage problem, what do I have to check for normality?
NP and NQ.
Yes. Oh, I'll tell you what, keep working. I'm gonna get some drink. Oh, holy crap. I walk away for a second and the chat goes crazy. Oh, thank you, everybody. That's called the walk away and hope style of teaching. Halloween candy. Is everybody cool with what's happening right here?
Yes.
Let me know if Janik is wrong or right. So remember, in these problems, I don't calculate p hat until I get here. I don't calculate any sample stuff until I get here. So what's p? Well, it's going to be the number from the claim. Let's see. So I get right, normal enough. That sounds like it describes me. He's normal enough. Go ahead and put him in charge of a class. Thank you. Bless you. Anybody get the rejection region? What the z-score numbers for the rejection region?
Plus or minus 1.645.
Yeah. And remember, a really good place to go to look for that. Let me see. Do I have this open? Dadgummit, Jeff. Dadgummit, Jeff. All right, let me open this thing up. Where are you? You can go away. Where are you? Just to remind you guys, if you look at, if I do that, can you guys see the T-score chart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay! So 90% confidence means 10% in two tails. Why am I using the T-score chart? Because Z-score's there. That's the 1.645. Kick ass. And just to harp on this thing that I've said before, the HO is always the one that has the equals as a part of it. So it always thinks it's in here. So if I get a sample that is out there, then I can reject the guy who thought it was in here. That's it. That's the heart of this whole thing. That is why we call that the rejection region.
I'm sorry, I missed where the confidence level percentage is.
Oh, it's up here. See it up here?
Yep, got it.
Okay. So yeah, sometimes I put it on part C and sometimes I put it up in the write-up. Why? Because I'm an asshole. You should know that by now. So just look at both places for that bad little fish dude. Oh, funky. Oh, they called Michigan. Let me see. All right. 17, 17 more. That would be Nevada and Arizona. So if he can keep, it doesn't matter. Please, dear God. All right. Please let me know if you're having any trouble. You can private chat me if you don't want to say it out loud or something. Let's see what happens down here in the next step. Somebody help me out. What's N?
322.
322. And what's X? What's the number of successes?
282.
282. I like it. I got a chat coming in too. Oh yeah. We'll see in a minute. Oh, I forgot already. 282. Okay. I got a private chat. I'll ask you. I'll answer it in a second here. So P hat is, so you have got to know how to make a percentage from some numbers I give you. So 282 out of 322. So 282 out of 322. Pretend like that's a 2. That's a little zombie 2. Poor little thing. So 282 divided by 322. What do you guys get for that?
0.876.
Notice how I don't give the first shit about Q hat, right? I don't need Q hat. Somebody remind me, what is P?
The pass, the
Yes.
success.
I mean, so I know what P hat is, right? 0.876. What's the value of P?
0.845.
Exactly. Remember, a hypothesis test is we assume that the number from the claim is the actual number. So therefore, somebody was asking me what's Q. Well, now you can tell me what's Q.
0.155.
155. And of course, I used that earlier here. I like it. Is everybody with me? Yes, Catherine. It's always 1 minus P. I like it. So now I got everything I need for this formula here. It's my data, 0.876, minus the supposed, so that's 0.876 minus the supposed number, 0.845. That's the middle possibly. All over the this thing. That's the thing we stole from the confidence interval formula, right? So it'll be 0.845 times 0.155 divided by 322. Be really careful. When you plug this in the calculator, you can put the top in parentheses, divided by, make sure that this whole thing is inside the square root symbol, right? And let's see what I get. Oh, I get a nice little number. I like it. I like you, little number. So I'm getting, what do you guys get? 1 point. Oh, got a chat fast and furious. Yes, I get 1.54 also. Could somebody figure out what is this? What is the p-value?
The area.
Area of what?
Two tails.
I like it. It's a two-tail test. So it's the area in the tail or tails that my Z star makes. So if you look up this area here, I'm going to double it because it's a two-tail test. So if you can find the area in the tail above 1.54, which is the same area as the tail below negative 1.54, right? Let's see. Now I need my t-square chart. I mean z-square chart. Where are you? Donde está? There you are. Let's do this one. Whoa. Do you see the z-square chart now? So if I look up 1.54, I see 9382. And that is not the right answer because that's this. So 1 minus 0.9382 is 0.0618. And then I'm going to double it because it's a two-tail test. So 2 times 10618 is 0.1236. And for a p-value, that is relatively big. We normally think of p-values that show us evidence is going to be somewhere between 0.01 and 0.05, somewhere in there. They got to be really small. So what we talked about last time. So from this, it seems like we failed because that's a pretty big value. In fact, it is larger than alpha. How else can I tell that we failed? Here's my 1.54. Did that make it in the rejection region?
No.
No. Poor little dude. He's right there on the edge though, but too bad, not far enough along. You're right where H naught thought you would be, right in there. So therefore, let me see what color show I want to put this in. Weird ass purple. I like it. Go away. I'm done with you. All right. Fail to reject the null. Fail to support the high. We failed everything. We just suck. So the null hypothesis is the one that thinks it's in here somewhere. So to show that it's wrong, I have to get outside of there, and we didn't. So we failed to show that this guy's wrong. So we failed to show that the other guy's right. All right, let me stop for a minute. Okay. So now is when you kind of let go of everything you just did. And you got to see which one of these is going to help me answer the question here. Well, which one was my claim? The HO or the H1?
HO.
Yeah, the HO. So I want to use, let's go back to blue. Bam. I want to use this language because I want to talk about the claim. I don't want to use that language. So you don't guess if you say reject or so. You don't guess. You use the one that relates to the claim. The claim was the null, so I'm going to use this language. Fail means we have not found sufficient evidence. Before somebody asks, yes, this is English. I'm sorry. It's not my own language I've made up. We have not found sufficient evidence to reject the claim that plagiarize. The proportion of students who agree that passing a 4-week stats, oh my God, it's a lot. That the percentage of students agreeing that passing a 4-week stats course and remembering stuff is impressive. Remembering stuff from a 4-week stats course is impressive. Is 84.5%. Oh, so we can't reject that because we didn't get far enough away from that.
Mr. Waller,
Yes.
I am struggling to type in the Z star into my calculator and get it right. Can you go over?
Oh yeah, sure. All right, I'll do that in, let me share the calculator here. Let me pull that bad boy up. Get my calculator to wake up. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share my calculator. All right, let me get out of here. Let me do this. I got to pull this over here. There we go. So if I put this in the calculator, it's going to look like this parenthesis. You guys can see my calculator, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So parentheses, so the calculator knows what's on the top. And if you have this kind of calculator where the square root symbol doesn't grow, this is, I'll do it the other way too in a minute. You don't want to close those parentheses until you're done getting everything in there, because if you close the parenthesis, you come out of the square root. Does that make sense? I want all this business here to be in the square root. So it's all of it's got to be in the parentheses. There's the 1.54. If you have the newer calculator, it's kind of nice because Scheisse Meisse. Then the square root symbol just grows, right? You guys with me? So you have to have one or the other. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, if you do have a newer calculator, but you're not having the square root symbol grow like that, you might want to look under mode and do math print instead of classic. Math print is the one that makes things look more like they would on paper.
Wait, how did you get there? Mode?
Yeah, if you hit mode, you might not have this option. math print versus classic. If you don't have that option, oh, too bad, you're stuck. But if you do, you might want to consider math print. Everybody with me a little bit? What is this? I have no idea. All right. Oh, I see. Okay. Is that all right, everybody?
Thank you.
Sure. Whoa, where's everything? Holy crap, Jeff, you have so much shit open here. There you are, okay. Awesome. Quick question, yes, ma'am. I'm ready. For it to be one tail, this strictly has to go one direction. That's right. So if you're reading through a problem and you can't see a directional word like less than, greater than, increased, decreased, went up, went down, it's probably a two-tail test because we sort of look over the words is. We think it is, or we think it's 7. And you're like, what the hell, man? What is that? It is 7, so equal 7. So it's going to be not equal to for the H1, so it's going to be a two-tailed test. You guys follow me?
Mhm.
There's no directional words in this problem. Therefore, it most likely is a two-tailed test. And sure enough, the claim is it is the same as, all right, that's equals, and the opposite is not equal to. Yeah. All right, I like it. Good job. All right. I have a proposition for you guys. Let's end the class now. Does that sound all right? Is anybody really angry at me? How dare you?
No,
Like,
that sounds perfect.
Greedy teacher taking my tax money and then not working. All right, if you feel that way, I'm sorry. But yeah, let's do it. Let's stop. Is that all right? Everybody okay? I don't know what that
Yes.
is. All right. I'm thinking about making chapter 10 extra credit, but we'll still talk about it a little bit on Monday. Oh, when is the next quiz?
It's the 18th, I believe, of November.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. We got plenty. Holy crap, Jeff. You really put a lot of, okay. So what I need you to do over the weekend is to get as deep into chapter 9 as you can and come with a lot of questions on Monday. Cool. And maybe on Monday, well, I'll tell you what, on Monday, I'll have a sort of a more real life example for us to try to do with these hypothesis tests. Are you shocked? What are you shocked about? That I'm going to let you out now? Okay. You got to remember too, I'm not really doing it just for you, right? All right. Because I really didn't get a lot of sleep and I'm worried I'm going to start to be really incoherent if I keep going. So I think that's enough. Let me know if you need to hang out, if you have any questions.
Cool.
Get started in your quiz corrections. What's up? Sorry.
Oh, teacher, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So yeah, I got some corrections on quiz 7. So 3A.
Right, wait a minute.
I'm not sure what I did wrong.
All right, hold on. Let me look you up here real quick. Where are you? Here we go. Let me see. Where's this? Oh, there it is. There you are. So which one? Sorry.
3A.
Oh, Standard deviation, you have to go at least 3 decimal places.
Oh, I got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's an
Have a great
easy.
weekend.
You too. If we are late in the submission, no, I mean, no. That was fine.
I had one more question.
Yeah.
For quiz corrections, how much more points can you get back from it if you correct things?
So as it states in the syllabus, if you got an 80 or above, you can get 5 points back maximum if you do all the corrections, get them all right. If you get below an 80, you can get 1 point for every 4 points you missed if you do all the corrections and get them all right.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Sure, you too. Everybody else all right out there? I don't see any questions. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. How do I check where you like corrected the quiz?
Oh, okay. So let me see. Let me try to do, I got to do this as a student to remember. If you, I can't do that here, can I? If you go to your grades, oh, let's see if I can do this. It's been a while since I did this. I think I thought I made a video about that. Hold on. Let me see. If you go to grades and go to the assignment, there should be a link about view feedback or something like that. So try to go to your grades and then click on the quiz, submit quiz 7 here, click on that. And there should be a view feedback or something like that. All right, let me see if I can do that as a student here. Did I turn?
Okay, I found it. Sorry, I was just clicking on the quiz 7, not submit quiz 7.
Oh, yeah, I know. It kind of sucks the way I had to do that. That's a little confusing, but that's the only way I know how to make it work the way I want it to. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's my only question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody else all right? If you're out there? All right, I'm gonna head out. I don't see any more questions.